just makes me so upset because I actually love her so much, and the fact that I didn't want to be around her in those early days, like I really regret it. Like, hey, so hi, if this is your first time coming to my channel, I'm Jess. I am a mum of one. I have a little girl and I've been married for 7 years, and this is my channel. This is me. Oh my gosh, I'm back. Your girl's back. For today we are talking, let's just go straight in because we haven't got time to waste because the baby is really asleep. We are talking all things postpartum. I had a baby. I'm so proud of myself, literally so proud. During the pandemic, I was pregnant during the pandemic. I've done a video on that if you want to have a look at that. So that in itself, wow. So I'm thinking, you know, after I had the baby, basically when she was born, our national caging away, imprisonment had ended, and I thought, yeah, it's gonna be all good. Little did I know we're gonna have 2 and a 3. So she was literally a lockdown baby, poor thing. Obviously I've never had a child before, so lockdown in itself, I mean postpartum, having a baby in itself without all of these shenanigans is a mess. Which I didn't know. Adding a lockdown, oh my gosh. Only God got me through this last year of raising my daughter. Postpartum is very lonely, let's not get it twisted. Like, the loneliness you experience is so weird as well, because you could have other mum friends as well, but it's like a loneliness within loneliness. And I actually, looking back on it now, so I've spoken to a lot of friends and I developed postpartum depression, and it's something that it's weird to talk about because I didn't know it was a thing. I genuinely thought I had the baby blues for a long time. Postnatal depression is a type of depression that happens to parents after having a baby. Symptoms include constant sadness, lack of energy, a difficulty bonding with your baby, etc, etc. I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian for about 11 years, so God definitely got me through that, and I've already experienced depression without having a baby. Because of the element of being in a lockdown, I didn't have a chance to really celebrate having a new baby, or welcoming the baby into the world. So there was no hoo-ha, there was nothing, because everyone was going through so much. How can you talk to people when we're going through such a crazy time in the world? Like, I genuinely thought, this is it, the rapture gonna happen, or we're gonna get taken. That element of trying to reach out for help and support, I just couldn't do it. I just didn't know who to ask. People were already fighting over bloody toilet roll. So, you know. How it came about with me, it's not like I hated being a mum, but you know, a lot of people you'll hear when they have babies, they talk about this newborn bubble, right? This lovey-dovey, squishy-wishy happiness that they experience, and they just can't believe they're just so in awe of their baby. I didn't have that. I genuinely did not feel anything when she was born, and I had a lot of time alone because of the lockdown restrictions. After I had her, my husband had to leave. I was just in the bay with her, just staring at her like, okay. First night I brought her home, I just thought, I don't want this. For some, it's just this wave of confusion, and obviously I know God is not a God of confusion, so it was all these crazy thoughts you get in your brain. I didn't even, it's like I was disconnected. I couldn't physically open my mouth to talk to her. There'd be days, so I'd wake up and it was like almost a routine. I was like a robot. I would change her, look at her, I felt nothing. I couldn't even talk to her, and it's almost like I felt like she hated me. I got these random feelings of, she's looking at me like, you're stupid, you're a ridiculous mum, you know, it was almost like she was mocking me. I'd created this horrible bounce back from her, and obviously it's not her, she's a baby, she's like a few weeks old, but I struggled so much in the newborn phase. I'm talking 0 to about 6 months. My husband had to go back to work the day after I gave birth because we were in obviously a lockdown. People were kind of on this thing called furlough. So he'd literally been taken off of furlough straight away, so he couldn't even say can I just take 2 weeks off, because we, you know, you need your money, you need to work and stuff. But I waited a while to have a baby, and then we had some kind of like, we have sort of like basically like fertility issues. Even though we were a young couple, we did have a few fertility issues and bits and bobs going on in our lives as well that prevented us from having a baby as soon as we thought we were, you know. So it was kind of like, I'd waited so long for this moment. I'd waited so long to just have my own baby, and now I was really just not in the right headspace. Every day I would literally wake up like, so basically, you know, with depression, you can you don't have any energy to do anything. People tend to be in their beds a lot or don't leave the house. That was me. I would literally prolong waking up as long as I possibly could, just so I don't have to face the day. It was that crazy. Like I was breastfeeding. I had no problems with breastfeeding, so you know, it wasn't even, I was having any difficulties. Everything was actually blessed in terms of that. But I kept putting her back to sleep, so she'd wake up maybe a lot of times in the night, and then early morning, 7, put her back to sleep. I would prolong, I would literally roll out of bed at like 11 with her, because I just didn't want the day to be any longer than it needed to be, because with the lockdown as well, I was stuck indoors. There was nothing to do, there was nowhere to go, no one to see. That I felt like there was no point in being. I felt like there was no point presenting myself, presenting her. I didn't even get her dress. I would literally just change her nappy and keeping her baby grow. I mean, newborn stages is fine, you need to dress them up, but like, I had no desire to even care about the day. I just thought every day was so pointless. There's nothing, there's no purpose. I felt purposeless. It was the element of the exhaustion mixed with it all. I didn't have any respite. I didn't have a lot of help. I have one sister, and bless her, she has her own family. So it's kind of thing where a lot of mums do struggle with asking for help, asking people to help them. But during a global pandemic, like, what the hell? It was literally a myth. I didn't have that, you know, where you go around and let the mum sleep. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have a break. I never had a break, and it was just so hard. With the postpartum depression, you normally get feelings of wanting to hurt either the baby or yourself. I had thoughts of hurting myself just so I could be in a hospital, just so I could have some respite and rest away from her. It was so crazy. Like, there was times when I envied other mums who were sick or who got mastitis, so they had to, you know, because I was breastfeeding as well, so it's even more demanding. I had to be there constantly for her, and I didn't want to be around her. This makes me so upset, because I actually love her so much, and the fact that I didn't want to be around her in those early days, like, I really regret. When I see people now and their newborns, and I'm like, they're so in love. I never had that. I might have portrayed it as I was happy, but I really wasn't, because from the day she was born, I've had no break up until recently. So I stopped breastfeeding last month, September, throughout the night. I've broken down day feeds, but it's been such a long journey breastfeeding as well. Like, oh, this next child is not, you will not see my breasts. It's getting the bottle. I can't believe how crazy it is. Like, it gets into your mind. Obviously I prayed a lot. I cried a lot, but it did pass, in terms of, like, she got older, and the more she became more receptive to me, started cooing, started babbling, I started to fall in love with her. It did take me a while, and I would say probably around this year, January, so she would have been at 6 months, I really started to fall in love with her. So I just want to encourage, like, mums out there, like, you might, even if you're crying out every day, just know that there is hope at the end. Like, all these feelings you have are so valid. Like, becoming a mum is hard enough, but during the pandemic was literally, we had no one. But if you are kind of thinking, how can I clear what saved me, and like I said, my devotional at home was so pants, but I started going on walks. Around my local neighborhood. Luckily I live in quite a leafy suburban area, and I started going on walks with the baby, obviously because she was quite young, she'd just fall asleep, and I used to pray. I used to just talk, and there were days when I felt so disconnected from the world. I would literally walk zombie. I probably walked into people. I probably was praying out loud and didn't realise, but I just walked and I walked and I walked, and I found all these different routes and ways to get around my area. And it's weird because now today when I go on those walks just to go to the shops, I remember those days when I was so low that I thought, what is the point in being alive? Like, what is the point in this life? Like, I'm so lonely. I prayed for this baby, I've got this baby, and I'm so upset I don't want this baby. Like, those are the kind of walks and prayers that I was having. But when now I revisit those walks, I get so emotional because I'm like, God, you are so good. You carried me through all of that, and I'm still here today. Like, I tell my baby when I'm walking her now she's a little chatterbox, I'm like, baby, this is where Mummy used to walk, this is where, and it's like I can connect everything around me, because I remember when I looked at that point or that house or that part of the journey, and I remember those dark days. But now I'm in the happier part of being a mum. I'm like, gosh, God, you were good. I'm on a journey, and hence why I just haven't documented anything. I haven't been on YouTube. I started my Instagram up again. I've learned so much in the last year. I'm just so ready to share and just to talk. Like, it's so good to talk. It's so good to just hear that someone else is going through it or has been through it, and to tell you that it gets so much better. But obviously I am a Christian, so my hope is in God, and even when you can't even see him, you can't even physically get out of bed, God literally will scoop you up and he'll hold you. So yeah, it's just life. This is life. This is just be mummy wife life. This is the mummy part, and I'm a whole mummy now, so you're gonna get a lot of mummy content, but you know, okay. I hope you guys are well. Subscribe. I don't know where I'm looking with this camera. I'm looking up here, looking down there, looking here. But subscribe to my channel, you know, vlogs, chit chat, general shenanigans. You know, I am very hilarious, so don't worry if this video is giving you all types of negative vibes. If you stayed this long, thank you, and God bless you all, and I love y'all. See you, bye.